What's going on, guys? It's Lars, Sidewall Jedi. I'm here at SCX today, and we are gonna walk you through a double inside tutorial. So I have my top string already done. I've started the sidewall here, and having the string come out of the back of the mesh is when I'm gonna do a traditional sidewall. That's the way that I'm usually doing it. So that I can do the double inside sidewall all the way down, I'm actually going to bring the string back a little bit. Doing it this way, I'm gonna be going front to back rather than back to front. So just remember, back of the mesh, front of the mesh. So I've got my string. I'm gonna go down to the next sidewall hole. I'm going front to back, pulling it all the way through. I'm gonna go from the inside of the plastic out, back through the strut. I'm going from the inside of the plastic out, through the middle of the sidewall of the plastic, back up this way, and then I tighten. I'm trying to get everything as tight as I possibly can. There's lots of different ways to do this. I wrap them around my fingers. So for this next hole, I'm going from front to back, skipping one sidewall hole, inside out, through the middle, back up through the loop. Tighten it as much as I can. I'm gonna go back through that same hole of mesh, back to front. Same way that I did on the first one. As you can see on this side, I skipped one hole in the top of the sidewall before I tied off the top string, tied off the sidewall on the second hole. I've only skipped 2 holes down here. Okay, so the rest of it is inside SIs all the way down. I'm not gonna skip any more holes as I go down the rest of the sidewall here. Every time going front to back, do the SI, back to front through the mesh. Inside of the plastic going out, through the middle, tighten, back to front through the mesh, down to the next one. And you'll see once we get down here, like I didn't skip, there's no doubles. It's all SIs all the way down. So I'm using, for every hole that I'm going in through the sidewall here, going through one of these holes of mesh. And so there's a whole bunch left here. You see how at the bottom, I've got one extra hole at the bottom of the side that I already did. So I got a long way to go. I finished that hole, so front to back, through the sidewall, through the middle, back to make a loop. Tighten. One of the things that I'm doing while I do this is I'm paying attention. You see how all of the mesh sits a certain way in the back. I'm making sure I'm stopping every time. Every hole that I go through, I stop to make sure that it looks the same. Obviously, I want to make sure that I'm using the same row from side to side, so that obviously it's even all the way top to bottom and it's symmetrical. But I just, from an aesthetic standpoint, I want to make sure it's looking the same as I go down. And I'm constantly going back and checking that. So back through the mesh, back to front, down to the next one. Inside out, through the middle, make that loop. And this is what I'm doing right here with my fingers. I'm kind of pulling the mesh just to make sure it sits in the right spot. Tighten the string, then back to front through the mesh again. Down one more. Front to back. Inside, out, through the middle, through the inside of the strut. Tighten. Back to front. Front to back. Inside, out, through the inside of the sidewall of the head. Tighten. So one of the things that I am doing as I go down on each side is I'm making sure that the string is pulled up tight next to the interlocks on the inside of the head. I want to make sure that the string is pulled as tight as possible up underneath these interlocks so that the string stays in place. It's incredibly essential when stringing this style. These little teeth are absolutely perfect for helping keep the string where you want it. Back to front. Only got a couple holes left. Front to back, inside out, through the inside of the strut. Make sure the mesh sits correctly. Tighten up underneath the interlock. Back to front. Last hole of the mesh, front to back, inside out through the sidewall hole, loop through the inside of the strut. Make sure it sits correctly underneath the interlock. That's inner, not inter. Tighten. Back to front. Keeping that as tight. Everything is as tight as we can possibly make it. And then a simple tie off at the bottom. So now I'm going to finish up by putting a bottom string in real quick, and then I am going to break in the pocket so you can see what this is going to look like after it's broken in. So I know this doesn't look like the deepest pocket in the world right now. It actually looks particularly not deep, but once we break it in, it's gonna look a lot different. And that's one of the big things that we're gonna talk about later in another video, specifically pocket break-in. So when you guys finish this up, you can put whatever shooting setup that you want. I know for me right now, I am about to go out to the turf here at STX, and I'm gonna go shoot because I'm really excited about how this is gonna work.